In this video, I'm going to be reviewing not one, but three different Kokuyo Perpanep notebooks. I'll go over the specs, I'll do 3 paper tests, and I'll tell you what I like and don't like about these notebooks coming up. Blake here with Blake's Broadcast. On this channel, I review fountain pens, paper, and ink, and as always, I put links in the show notes in the description below. And if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. It really helps out my channel. Alright, let's get on with the review. So here I have the Kokuyo Perpanep notebooks, and I have each of the 3 different paper types here. This is the Ultra Smooth, the Tsuru Tsuru, and then we have the Smooth, and you can see the symbols here. The Ultra Smooth is this flat symbol, the Smooth is this wave, and you can see it here on the sort of plastic jacket. We have the straight line, the wave is the Sara Sara, and then this jagged one is the textured paper, the Zara Zara, and you can see that there. So I'll walk through the Tsuru Tsuru. The features are all the same, it's just the ruling and the different papers which I'll compare together. So the name Perpanep is an anagram of pen and paper. I am not a huge fan of this name. It's weird. I didn't get that it was a anagram of pen and paper. I don't think most people would get that, or maybe they would. I'm just not good at anagrams. I don't know. So this particular version has a 5mm grid, and interestingly, this line of notebooks does not offer a blank notebook, but they do offer grids in 3mm, 4mm, and 5mm, and then they offer a steno ruling, 6mm rule, which is like this. It's ruled, but you have a line down the middle. Not a big deal. I would prefer just regular ruled, but that's one of the options you get. And then you also have a 4mm dot grid, which I did not purchase. Interesting choices with the rulings there. I do like that you get the grid in different sizes. I would have preferred a regular ruled paper, but it is what it is. Now, you'll notice that these notebooks are pretty thin. They have 60 leaves in them, so 120 pages. Definitely down a little bit in size, but I actually like this size. It's, you know, depending on the purpose, I find that these are easier to fill up, not having extra pages, so I definitely like the size. Now, we can take a look at the side here. You can see they did put Perpanep on this outer jacket, 5mm grid, made in Japan, and then lots of Japanese that I cannot read. Oh, one of the features of this notebook, which they're kind of showing here, is that it goes completely flat. So it does have a lie flat binding. All right, let me take this little jacket thing off here. Now, the cover is a recycled cardstock. It only comes in this sort of bluish gray color. I think it looks really nice. It looks very close to the Cosmo Airlight notebook that I reviewed. I'll put a link to that up in the corner. Very simple. So you can see the symbol to signify this is the Tsuru Tsuru, and we have the webbed or mesh binding cover here. I do not believe that this is a stitched binding. If it is, let me know in the comment section, but I can't find any stitches. I don't feel any stitches on the spine. And if you look, the signatures on this are absolutely microscopic. I do not think that this is a stitched binding. Okay, so going to the back of the cover, Perpanep and Kokuyo, and this is the model number there. Very nice, clean looking notebook. I mean, nothing really to complain about here. No paste down, we just have this cover, and do notice how flat this is. You can just see it goes totally flat right out of the gate. Totally flat. I mean, it's It's basic. It's as flat as it gets. Having 60 leaves of paper, you get it a little bit thinner, and I'm not 100% sure what they did for the binding on this, but it does go incredibly flat. I don't know if that does something for the durability of the notebook, but it's not bad. I like it. So going to the back of the notebook, again, nothing here. It's just really just that 5mm grid. Actually, before we go into the paper tests, let's just look at the papers. When you buy these, I bought this from Jet Pens, no affiliation, but they give you this little booklet so that you don't have to buy all three like I did, so that you can sample the different types of paper. So here I have the 3 different types of paper. One of the things that I noticed right away was that the ultra smooth, the Tsuru Tsuru paper, was not quite as white as the other 2 papers. And I think that this middle, this smooth paper, the Sara Sara, is maybe the whitest, whereas this one has a little bit more of a yellowy look to it. Just pointing that out there. I don't even know if you're going to be able to see that on camera. The Tsuru Tsuru is the ultra smooth paper, and Kokuyo says that this is specifically for fine liners and fountain pens, and it's 96 GSM. The Sara Sara, this is the smooth paper, and this is 75 GSM, and it's designed for gel pens, ball pens, and pencils. And this, the Zara Zara, the textured paper, is 90 GSM and is designed for fine liners and fountain pens. I think they all actually work pretty nice with fountain pens, but let's take a look at the paper tests. So starting with the Tsuru Tsuru, we can see that we get some actually nice shading, and this is a good sheening paper. Really nothing to complain about on the face of this. There's no feathering. Everything looks really good, in my opinion. Very nice. Now on the back, on the Pilot, we can see just a couple little spots, really no big deal, and on the Mont Blanc. The Schaefer Medium, the Lamy Extra Fine, no issues. And we did get some bleed through on the Sharpie, the Copic, the Pilot oil drawing pen, and the Staedtler Lumocolor Permanent, but really not bad. We do see, interestingly, the Pentel Energel bled through a little bit. No problems from the roller balls. Very good performance, very fountain pen friendly, very, very nice paper. In terms of ghosting, the ghosting is pretty minimal on this. It's 96 GSM. Yeah, very nice. So now going to the smooth. Here we can see some feathering on the Mont Blanc, especially this M here. Other than that, I don't see too many other issues. Maybe we get a little bit of feathering on this Otofude ball, the 1.5mm. Everything else looks okay. You're not going to get as much sheen on this paper. You do get some shading. Now here we can see the Copic went went through a lot more, even onto the other page here. Sharpie penetrated up quite a bit more. Pilot oil drawing pen, Staedtler Lumo color went through more. But actually, the Otofude ball may be coming through just a tiny, tiny bit. But the fountain pens, with maybe the exception of that Mont Blanc, I'm wondering if I got oil on the paper there. But everything else looks totally fine. Let's just do a quick little test here with that Mont Blanc. Then maybe if I get oil from my fingers, let's see what happens here. At any rate, I do believe that this Sara Sara, the smooth paper, is fountain pen friendly. I'm not seeing any bleed here. It looks fine to me. Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there. But anyway, I almost think the paper performance between the Sara Sara and the Tsuru Tsuru, I think that in terms of, well, fountain pens bleeding, this thinner 75 GSM smooth paper is better. Let's see, is it going to come through? Not yet. All right, well, we can check back on that. So now finally, the Zara Zara. The textured paper. And if you look, you can see this paper does definitely have a very serious texture, and you can really feel it. Now, in terms of feathering and bleeding, because of that texture, the lines look a little bit rougher, but I actually don't see any real bleeding here. Everything looks pretty good. Maybe on the Otofude ball we get a little bit of bleeding. Let's see if we go to the other side here. Yeah, oh, actually no. Interestingly, the Uni ball Air Micro bled through a little bit. Fountain pens, though, perfect performance, no bleed through at all. A little bit of the Sharpie, a little bit of the Copic, a little bit of the Pilot oil drawing pen, and a little bit of the Staedtler Lumo Color permanent marker. A little bit on this Uniball Air Micro, but very fountain pen friendly. Honestly, all of these papers are fountain pen friendly. So even though that this smooth one they said was for gel pens and ball pens and pencils, I think it works really nice for fountain pens. Yeah, there's no bleed here. So really, really nice. I love that they're giving you these options. Now, just to do a little bit live here, so we can use this Akase, which is a double broad 1.3 millimeter cursive italic. Very smooth, and this is a very smooth nib. So then going down to the Sara Sara, this is honestly also very, very smooth. And then the Zara Zara, the textured paper, here you can hear more feedback. Okay. Now let's go to a finer nib. This is a Schaefer Legacy medium. Sorry, I'm using all black ink here. Okay. I'm feeling more resistance, with the finer nib, because it's probably just less ink coming out. So this is definitely noticeably smoother. When you touch them though, boy, they're really both smooth. But writing on it, this does have a bit more texture than this. Yep. Yeah, more texture there. So this is my Kaweco Supra with an extra fine nib. And here we'll say so yeah, definitely can feel this texture. These two, when you go down to the fine, the extra fine, they're really close. Yeah, this is maybe just a touch smoother. But again, you can see, I think here maybe a little bit better. This Tsuru Tsuru is the most yellow of these papers. I would consider both of these to be pretty white paper. Just as a comparison, this is a Nebula Note, which has very bright white paper. And so looking at this, these aren't, none of these are quite as bright as the Nebula Note. The Sara Sara is the whitest, followed by the Zara Zara, and then the Tsuru Tsuru is a bit on the yellow side. I really like these papers. I like that they're giving you a variety. My favorite, I think, is probably the Sara Sara. The Sara Sara is maybe the most special, although if you like textured paper, this has really textured paper. Let's just comparing it to a semicolon with, laid paper. This has significantly more texture. So my favorites are definitely the Sara Sara, the smooth, which is totally fine for fountain pens, even though they say it's not for fountain pens, and the Zara Zara, the textured. I think these are both really nice. I love that this is 75 GSM, and it's actually, if you look at them from the side, you can see that Sara Sara 75 GSM is quite a bit thinner, but it's the same number of pages. So really like these two. The Tsuru Tsuru is nice. It's not as white, but it's a really smooth paper. It holds fountain pen ink nicely. If you like the smoothest possible paper you can get, then the Tsuru Tsuru is really nice. That is it. All right. So what are my pros and cons for the Kokuyo Perpanep notebook series? Well, I definitely love that they thought to give us 3 different types of paper to write on. Ultra smooth, a smooth, and a textured. That's really cool. I can't think of another notebook line that does anything like that. I also like that you get multiple different formats. You get a steno format, a dot grid format, and 3 different grid formats. So that's really, really nice. I do like the minimalistic design, very simple, these look very much like the Cosmo Air Lite or a Midori MD notebook, very minimalistic. I like that the papers are very fountain pen friendly. I like that the binding really does lay flat, very easy, super nice, lie flat spine. In terms of cons, I don't like that you don't get a normal ruled version. You get the steno, which has, a line down the middle. Not a big deal, but not my favorite. There's no blank option. I know some people will like blank notebooks. You don't get that with this line. Other cons, I would say that the binding, I do not believe this is a stitched binding. So in terms of durability, I'm not sure how durable it really is. I know on the Kokuyo Century Edition notebook that I reviewed not too long ago, with those, over time the binding does kind of get deformed as you use it. That might not be an issue here. I haven't had that problem yet, and it could just be because it's a thinner notebook with only 60 leaves of paper, 120 pages. I really like what Kokuyo did with this line, just giving us all these options and keeping the format all the same. So when I get tired of an ultra smooth glossy paper, I can go to a textured paper, which I do normally, but I'm usually changing brands and then it looks different. So if I wanted to just stick to one series of notebooks, I could potentially do that with this Kokuyo Perpanep line. I guess the other con that I would say is I do not like the name of this notebook line. Do you guys have this notebook? Do you like this notebook? Let me know in the comment section below. And if you like this video, please hit that like button. And if you want to see more fountain pen, paper, and ink videos, please hit that subscribe button. Thank you guys so much, and until next time.